take on Lamar Jackson, if you want to tell the story of Lamar Jackson struggling in the playoff, then you also have to tell the story where on the road in snow without Zay Flowers, he had 125 passer rating, went 12 for 15, and was a drop pass from tying it. You got to tell the whole story. And I could be a Lamar Jackson apologist, but like Matt Hasselbeck, I've never seen anything quite like him. I think he's remarkable. I think there are quarterbacks in the pocket like a Mahomes I would take, but he's so special that on a bad snap, he's just trying to be Superman, and that's just his DNA. So every winning team in the playoffs had no turnovers, and 9 straight games have been won by a team with no turnovers. So, again, you're not playing Carolina and the Jets. You just can't make mistakes on this stuff. And Lamar, in 4 of his 8 playoff games, has had multiple turnovers, and in 4 of the 8, and in those 4, he's 0 for 4. So that's fine. Now, conversely, the Bills kind of took the governor down their offense, especially after the early turnovers, and said, let's just play smart football. We've got a lead. We're at home. Let's just let Baltimore beat themselves, and to a degree they did. But, you know, again, the Mark Andrews fumble, the Mark Andrews drop, that's not that's not on Lamar Jackson. You got to tell the whole story. Is that, yeah, Lamar had a bad pick. That pick I'm showing the TV audience is terrible. But he digs you out of those because he is so unique. That fumble, I thought this was the play of the game, not the drop pass. I thought that fumble, I thought Buffalo was in trouble. I thought Baltimore had taken over. They'd had big drives. They had seized momentum. Buffalo wasn't moving the ball in the second half. They were playing a little safe, and they weren't moving the ball consistently. They needed, Tyler Bass to hit field goals. But here's John Harbaugh and the mistakes that eventually doomed the Ravens.
It was uncharacteristic to have turnovers like that. There are opportunities for us to not have those, but we have. So you try to bounce back from them. That's what you try to do in the course of a game. You can't take them back.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a tough one. This is a tough one for Baltimore Ravens fans. And there's no way to slice it. This game was kind of lost in a few different ways. And I did see in the comment section everyone jumping on Lamar Jackson and blaming Lamar and all of that. And yeah, could have Lamar played better? Yes. If he played 3% better, do they win? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that this loss is all on Lamar. And this is why I always talk about this all being a team sport. And again, I have to bring up Patrick Mahomes in this example because it's just the perfect example. Or as JCT Slice brought up, Tom Brady. Or, we can bring up Peyton Manning. We can kind of keep going. But, like, quarterbacks have turned the ball over. They fumble. They throw interceptions. And the reason why I use Mahomes is because it's the most recent. But, like, Mahomes threw 2 interceptions against the 49ers. But they still won the Super Bowl because the team around him was still able to make plays. And when it was time for Mahomes to put on the Superman cape, the team around him was like, okay, great. And they grabbed on and flew. And that's not what happened here with the Ravens. Yeah, Lamar Jackson had a terrible interception. He was throwing it to, I don't even know who, he was throwing it to Zay Flowers. I don't know what he was doing. I'm sure everyone collectively was just like, no, what is that? But he still ended up playing really, really great. 18 for 25, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. The interception, the fumble, and what was his passer rating? 114. And he had 6 carries for 39 yards. But first off, they only put up 10 points in the first half. Derrick Henry, they didn't utilize Henry enough in that first half. Surprise, surprise. But he was 16 carries for 84 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. 6 carries, for Hill for 50 yards, 8.3 yards per carry. They were 7 for 10 on third down, 1 for 1 in the fourth, 416 total yards, 2 for 3 in the red zone. But they had the 3 turnovers, the 2 fumbles and the interception. And it is tough when you lose and you do so by uncharacteristic things. Like, the fumble, Andrews fumble, the dropped 2-point conversion. Now, again, to be fair, the Buffalo Bills were going to have the ball back with 1:30, and I think they had 2 timeouts. It's not, again, and I hate when Kansas City Chiefs fans do this, so I'm not going to necessarily do it. It did feel like, hey, you know what? Josh Allen had a great chance to win this game still because they had 2 timeouts. and a minute 30, and they're at home. You know, Kansas City Chiefs fans always say, oh, well, Mahomes would just automatically win. And I'm not going to say that Josh Allen would have automatically led them because, again, the way how that game was going, who really knows? It easily could have gone to overtime. And then in overtime, you're like, oh, man, anything can happen. But I thought Lamar Jackson was comfortable. He was making plays with his legs, with his arms. Just an effortless, flick of the wrist. And the ball goes like 50 yards. I mean, like, this is a tough one. How will this loss impact Lamar's legacy? This is a Ravens loss. This is a Ravens loss. It just is. Did he dig them in a little bit of a hole? Yes. Has Tom Brady, has Patrick Mahomes, has Peyton Manning, has Brett Favre, has Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. I mean, name every quarterback out there. They've all dug their teams into holes. But the difference is Travis Kelce catches that ball. Tyreek Hill takes it to the house. Like, that's the difference. That's the difference. Andy Reid dials up the perfect play, the perfect throw. Andy Reid doesn't abandon a superstar player for an entire quarter. Spags doesn't give up the gauntlet. Like, that's the difference. This is on the Ravens. But the fact that they were right there, I mean, it practically, and again, because then even then, going for the 2-point conversion earlier on in the game. If you don't do that and you just kick the field goal, now you just kick a field goal and you're tied. You understand? Like, these decisions matter throughout the game. And the fumble on Lamar is just bad luck. Because when you're Lamar Jackson, you hold the ball, and you're a playmaker like that, you're going to fumble the ball. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. Any of these really mobile quarterbacks who really move around, you're going to have more fumbles. It's like a quarterback who's a slinger. They're going to have more interceptions. It's just part of it. It's just part of it. So the one really bad decision was that interception. But again, just last year, Patrick Mahomes threw one of the worst interceptions against the 49ers. The difference is that they were able to mitigate the harm from that. And then again, when it was time to step up, the players stepped up. That's the difference. That's the difference. It's collectively the team, and it's what I've been banging on. Lamar did orchestrate that comeback to tie the game up. And then it would have been up to his defense to contain Josh Allen. And to give Lamar another chance. It's what the Patriots did for Tom Brady. It's what the Broncos and the Colts did for Manning. It's what the Kansas City Chiefs do currently for Patrick Mahomes. It's what the Eagles failed to do for Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, he fumbled the ball in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Okay. And his defense also, and special teams also just gave up the whole farm to the Chiefs as well. That Jalen Hurts' fault too, because he orchestrated a comeback as well. He orchestrated the lead and then the comeback to tie it up. And then the defense dropped the ball. What do we see the Patriots defenses do? What do we see the Kansas City Chiefs defenses do? What do we see, again, name any of the Super Bowl winners over the years. What do those teams do? Brandon Graham, strip sack on Tom Brady. Boom. Aaron Donald getting after Joe Burrow. Put a ring on it. I mean, we see it again and 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 again. Everyone talks about that great comeback from Tom Brady, which was amazing. The defense had to hold their own too, did they not? Did they not? Of course. It wasn't just all Tom Brady. Who bailed out Tom Brady in the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks? Even the all-time great talents need support. They need to be picked up. Could Lamar Jackson have played better? Absolutely. Absolutely. Did he play good enough to win this game? Absolutely. Did the Ravens play good enough to win this game? Absolutely not. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens? Who do you blame? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.